Back, and thank you very much for staying with us. Tenants say renting someone's premises should be for the purpose of living and not feel like being in prison. However, many times they feel like they are intruders, discriminated against and live uncomfortably. They say rental property owners have unnecessary restrictions on families and visitors, and when the tenant parking lots are allocated, it's necessary that they should be safe parking areas and be reserved to minimize the risk of criminal activities. Well, for more on this, we are joined by Eric Munyai, who is chairman of the Tenants Union of South Africa. Welcome to our program.
Thank you very much, Colin, and viewers.
Why are you forming a Tenants Union of South Africa? Is it something to do with fighting with the owners of rentable properties?
No, Colin, it's not about that. It's not. I mean, for us to have the concept, it was after I've even experienced myself. I've been a tenant. Even right now, I'm still a tenant. But what makes me to realize that there's something that is needed in order for the tenant and the landlord to understand each other. There must be something. And then for me, being a unionist for about 10 years to 11 years, and then working for the union, some of the unions, then I've realized that no, there is a gap between the landlord and the tenant, whereby there is a victim. And actually the landlord can be a victim or the tenant can be victim. And there is a very, very, very much interested way to say, okay, how are we going to make sure that we can bring peace between these two people, being in the union, and then for that years, and then I've been seeing that no, now there is a time whereby definitely we have got more than 330 something workers union. Then for me, I've seen that no, something must be done.
Okay, so how are you going to intervene when there are squabbles between tenants and owners or landlords?
The way we are doing right now, we have seen that we need definitely to have in a way of creating the jobs. We need to have our youth to work for their own land, for their own country, by going out there and then check where there is a rental place. It is definitely vital for the people to stay there, and then it is comfortable, and then for the money that are being even paid for that will be definitely.
Here's a simple scenario for a renting process.
Yes,
you get a place, you stay in, and then when you pay your rent, there will be peace. What do you say about unruly tenants? They come, they occupy your place, they don't pay rent, they make noise, they also disturb the peace in the neighborhood, they get visitors, throw parties, and there's just pandemonium. How do you then intervene in that case?
We brought up the strategical way that tenants need to come and join TUSA as Tenant Union of South Africa members. They must come and join the TUSA, the TUSA concept, in order for them to be represented when there is a problem between them and their landlord. Mind you, there is no tenant that are going to be likely to say, no, I am being treated in a right way. They always say they are victims. But now, if they are in our hands and in our own camber, then we can control them, and then we can tell them, we can even advise them in a way of giving them advices, and then they will be also being guided, and in being told, even the landlord themselves, when that scenario happen, when the tenant comes to us, they will come running and say, no, my landlord is not doing the right thing. And then
but in whose interest are you if you are representing the tenants? Yes. Then it means you are not on the side of the landlord.
We are on the side of that.
How?
When the tenant comes to us and then report the landlord, we are going to call upon the landlord to come to our offices and sit down and see definitely if there is a problem between them, or they've been, who is the victim in between of these
so how
people.
do you then check and vet your members? Because you'll find that there are some tenants who occupy properties illegally and they refuse to go, and they want their rights to be protected because they say when they are evicted, they need to be provided with an alternative place. So what do you say about that with your union?
We definitely take our own members into board, and then we give them the advice, and then we educate them through our people who are the organizers. And those organizers, mind you, is our youth that doesn't have work. And then nevertheless, we need also fundings from the government. We know that these people who are working for TUSA, they will be given some stipend up until we up and running.
What happens when your mediation efforts fail?
There's no other way that we can fail, because we always have got a mitigate between landlord and the tenant.
What about the stalemate where the tenant says, I'm not going anywhere, and the landlord says, I want you out of my property?
Colin, mind you, we have got strategically way of doing anything that we can in order to bring peace. We also advise our own members to say, you see here, Mr. Colin, here you didn't go right. This is not how we can go with this.
What about illegal evictions? Let's say, for example, the red ants come and evict the tenants because a court order has been issued and the landlord has already made up his mind.
Mind you, when the landlord, somebody who is called a landlord, is there for the business. And then we have got some of the people, the landlord, who are not registered. Let's say some of the people who are renting backyard rooms. Those people, they don't know even if the names of the people who are renting at the place. But then when the problem happened, that's where now a person started now to say, no, that my house has been broken. I don't know, maybe is the one that was renting this side and this side. But now we are calling upon the landlord. We are going to educate even them to say, you must, as a landlord, you must know your tenant by name, even if they come from outside. We are not disputing the way of saying, no, there is a xenophobia and what. But now, when you're wearing the T-shirt of TUSA, Tenant Union of South Africa, there's no one who is not a tenant. As I said, myself, I'm a tenant. I've been a tenant. But I don't own, even if I've got a house where I've been paid it up. But I don't own electricity and water. The municipality can bring the statement of 2 million, whereas there's, somebody inside there was supposed to write 20 rand. Do you understand? So now we also say there's no one who is not a tenant. So for us to make sure that there is a peace between landlord and the tenant, and in our country is protected. We know, as a landlord, I know my people.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us.
Thank you very much.
All right. So much to talk about on issues regarding the rental space. Eric Munyai is chairman of the Tenants Union of South Africa. Right here on News Today, SA Today. Well, stay with us.